Good evening and welcome to the Monday, October 19th meeting of the Speedway Redevelopment Commission. I'd like to begin by calling the meeting to order and introducing our members. To my right is member Gordon Rundle. To my left is Secretary Rhonda Schwartz. To her left is the Speedway Schools representative, Dr. Terry Miller. Terry Reed, sorry. My apologies. And in the audience is the executive assistant, Tim Ramian. Appreciate all he does. At the podium this evening is Tim Gropp, and in the audience is our vice president, Miss Jennifer Miller. We've confirmed that we have a quorum, and I'd like to invite any members of the public to the podium, but no one has joined us, so these are public meetings, and if the public would ever like to join us, they're more than welcome to come and have their moment at the podium.
And I received no comments via email either.
Very good, and that's also an option. You can email Mr. Gropp or Mr. Ramian if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to address those publicly. Moving on to the next item, consent of the meeting minutes from the regular session September 21st, 2020, and joint executive session from October 7th, 2020. Did anyone have any edits or corrections? Good. Hearing none, we'll approve those minutes with consent. And moving on to item 5, approval of claims and expenses. Tim, would you like to go through that?
It was a one-pager. That's what we like to see. So, nothing too out of the ordinary. We did have a water heater go bad on us in the annex, so we do have a line item for repairs there. We tried our best to hold off since we're moving out of there. Then we tried to save the water heater from the Bell building that we're demolishing. The water heater's fine, we just couldn't get it into the attic because, well, I won't go into too much detail. It just didn't work, so we ended up having to get a new one. And reasonable, it's working fine, and the next tenant should enjoy nice hot water. And then we had we were able to purchase the Borg Warner replica statue from Expo Design. That claim is on there. And then just renewal of dues and memberships. It's that kind of time of year, end of the year, we'll be renewing that kind of stuff. Everything else is standard claims, and the budget looks good year to date on the budget versus actual.
Very good. If there's no additional questions in regards to the expenses, I'll entertain a motion to vote on approving the expenses.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the expenses as submitted in claims.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor of approving the claims as submitted, say aye.
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 Aye. Jennifer's back there in the audience nodding her head in approval. So claims are approved 4-0. And moving on to the next item, the director's report. Have for us this evening?
Fairly short this evening, so half-hour minimum. Everything's going smooth. We're obviously bumping up against some weather, which I'll take. We've needed the rain. So we were hoping to have all the paving done by this time on 2500. It got delayed. They're now anticipating doing that Wednesday and Thursday of this week. So hopefully everything gets done there and the paving will be done. We're really close to being done with our portion of the work out there. We were scheduled to actually have a Town of Speedway walkthrough today that got canceled. Says we have to inspect it. Since we're taking over that road eventually, we need to inspect the work and make sure it was done to NDOT standards and that we're okay with that. So that will get rescheduled, but hopefully the paving will be done, and then there's a little bit of concrete work, sidewalk work that needs to be completed. And that's, in our scope, that's about all that's left to be finished. They're going to leave a little dirt out there, so don't panic when you see a couple small dirt piles. They'll actually need that for a few projects for compaction and whatnot, so they went ahead and they're just going to leave it out there, and then they have to finish up the El Rodeo parking lot swap, but that is actually not on our scope. we provided our portion through the EDA, so that is beyond our scope. So we're getting close. It is our understanding that the hotel's architectural plans are to be done by the end of November, so that project's moving along. Crew Car Wash has purchased their property in full and is working on plans, so that one's working well. And the due diligence period on one of the grocer project has expired, so we believe that project is moving forward. We've had some communication with them. We have not announced that project yet, so hopefully that'll be as soon that we'll be able to do that. A lot of interest in the additional parcels as well, so hopefully we'll have some announcements, and we're anxious to kind of be done with our side of that and turn it over to businesses so we can see some construction of some new facilities here, which is what it's all about. So a lot of our time this last month, and will be through the end of the year, frankly, is going to be the new town hall, 5300 Crawfordsville Road. They're full force out there right now since they fell a little behind on site work. Now they're fighting a little bit of weather. So we're just anxious to get that moving along. They were installing light posts and electric. They have to reconfigure the lot, get the bricks up. There's an accent brick to the white that will be going up. It will really make that building pop really nicely. Interior, mostly electrical, drywall. They're doing some painting now. Most of the HVAC work is done. Probably next month they'll start on flooring. That'll be one of the last things they do. We're working on sign package, FF&E, that's missing. So we have a lot of furniture, but there are some gaps that are being looked at, so we're working on that. Wayfinding sign inside, break room, appliances, the catering kitchen appliance, all those little details that are coming up are starting to hit. So a lot of meetings over there, a lot of coordination, figuring out how to move back into the facility in January. So we'll keep you posted on that, but that's going to be between that and also us sorting and cleaning out the current buildings. It's going to be a lot of work here through the end of the year. So I anticipate a lot of our time being spent on those logistics. We are on a month-to-month starting next week at the town annex. That'll be beyond what's in our budget. We're still fine on our operating budget, but I wanted to let you know that there's nothing we had to sign or anything. We're good there through the end of the year. We just have to keep them up to date as to when we plan on moving out. And 1300 block, we are working on a draft EDA. Just sent out our bullet points to our attorney, and we'll hopefully have a rough draft in the next 2 weeks that we can be circulating, so we can kind of get that. We'd love to at least have the EDA informed by our November meeting so that we can start all the logistics that go beyond that. So it's kind of the first step to a long process, and if we'd like to be building on that project in early spring, we got to keep moving on that. So and then Wilshaw, everything's going as smooth as can be. Not a lot on the front end that people can see, but speaking with the MHG, they're working on the financing right now. They've rebid several of the packages, such as windows, drywall, electrical, and they're expecting bids on that by the end of the week. So things are moving there. They did, so nobody panics, they did take the construction trailer off-site. I'm not 100% sure on the logistics of that, but it was planned. There's nothing wrong. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew. And then they're also, I think it's part of their cleaning up the site a little bit, and hopefully get it kind of stabilized for the winter. So we are coming into that season. So again, I think their goal is to have everything lined up, financing, bid packages, and probably hit it hard here in the spring. They don't want to pay winter rates since it's not an enclosed building at this point. So there's still some architecture revisions they have to do, and depending on to what extent, those might have to get reviewed locally as well. So. And then our fence is nearly complete at 10th and Polco, so they finally got all the hardware in. I think the only thing possibly missing, and I haven't been out there in a few days, are the gates. So the few gaps that are there are the gates that allow access for mowers and whatnot. So once those are up, we have the no trespassing signs that need to get installed on there. Those are already ordered and I believe paid for. And so then our portion of that project is complete. So hopefully they'll mow it down and keep it nice, and we'll move on from that project. So it's exciting. Happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Jennifer? Appreciate that report. And that being said, no questions from any of the members. We'll move on to new business. The contract for civil engineering services for 1426 Main Street.
Yes, I had asked for a quote. So 1426 was a former, what do we always call it? The medical building.
Yeah, it was like a community, West.
Speedway Family Physicians. We had torn that down prior to the Wilshaw project kicking off, and it's proved to be a very popular and necessary parking lot on Main Street. However, when we took it down, we simply drew some pavement down and striping because we needed the parking, frankly, and never actually engineered or finished that project up. The intent with Indianapolis was always we go back and either sell that property for a project or make that a permanent lot, depending on need. I think there's no question that needs to stay a permanent lot. It's a valuable lot that is well used for those businesses in that area. So this is engineering to be able to do that. As we're looking at it, I'd like to reconfigure that lot a little bit, move the entrance off away from Barbecue and Bourbon's main doors a little bit, and make the flow one way. That not only helps pedestrian safety, but it also helps us control it for events and closing it down and whatnot. So that's not a final, that's just a concept we have now. I'd like to push it away from the north side a little bit, so there's a walkway over there as well. So the general concept is what you're looking at. It does, we add some spots on the street, we take a few away, and we lose those ones on the side. It ends up being about a net loss of 2 total spots, but I think that the spots are more, are better utilized, the traffic flows better. If you go in there now, it's a little chaotic. This just is a much cleaner design, and it's really not a huge loss. I think it'll be better utilized. So that's the concept. I felt the quote was very reasonable to get that engineered, and the hope is that we can bid out this lot the same time we bid out the Zellman and the land swap lot as a package, and hopefully drive our costs down. That's why I chose to move forward with getting this quote. And with that, I'd ask for your approval.
Anyone have any questions?
I just have one question on signage, like, because we have this lot there for the public. There's a sign there on Main Street, close to Barbecue and Bourbon. Do we need one? Or maybe there is one on the north side, if you're headed south, just so you didn't pass it when you saw that sign.
Yeah, I think there's several things. Again, that lot was really a real temporary lot to get it up and going. I think we can add posts to both sides so we're able to close that lot off. I think signage will be better. One thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to go through the variance process. Speed Zone 1 does not allow parking on Main Street. It's all required to be behind the buildings, so we'll have to go get official approvals and whatnot. So we will absolutely be bringing any details back to you, and we'll incorporate those in. Right now we have the big flower pots there, and I think there's a sign with a concrete post that says like 3-hour parking or something. So I think we can absolutely improve signage and make it clear that there's public parking there.
Any additional questions? With that, entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract for civil engineering services at 1426 Main Street.
Second?
With that, we will vote. All in favor of approving the contract for the civil engineering services for 1426 Main Street, say aye.
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 Jennifer's nodding her head yes. Everyone has voted yes. There's 0 no votes. It passes 4-0. Moving on to the next item of new business, contract for the creation of a new parcel and a re-plat on 4710 West 10th Street.
Yes, so this is in association with the amendment to the purchase agreement that we passed at the last meeting. That involved taking a small chunk of one of those parcels that'll be used in the B&O project. We have to create that parcel, which is one of the exhibits. So this is the engineer, this is to take it through the re-plat and give us a legal description and actually create that parcel, so we have something to deed back to the town for the B&O project. That is what this is associated with. So we'd like to wrap those up, so this will get that moving pretty quickly.
Does anyone have any questions in regards to that? That's that small piece that they're carving out?
Again, it involves a survey, going through the re-plat process, and then creating a legal description and recording the parcel.
If no one has any additional questions, I'd like to hear a motion to approve the contract for the creation of the new parcel of the re-plat for 4710 West 10th Street.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the contract for creation of new parcel and replat on 4710 West 10th Street.
And I will second that motion.
Jennifer also is seconding back there, I think. So,
I think this is how we should run every meeting.
all in favor of approving the contract for the creation of the new parcel for the replat on 4710 West 10th Street, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jennifer's nodding. Also, motion passes 4-0. That'll be good. I'm looking forward to that trail coming in sooner than later.
Yeah, I believe they're supposed to start in 2021, so it's exciting.
Absolutely. Moving on to the next item, old business, the 2021 operating budget final approval.
Yeah, so a couple months ago, I brought to you my proposed operating budget for 2021. I believe it was a recommended decrease of, where is it? Of about 7%. And then we had a few, put pins in it as the town was working through some final numbers and what they wanted to do. The only change from that one presented to this one is there's a potential for a 1% raise depending on the numbers. It's not guaranteed by any means, but for the budget approval for the town, they included the 1%. So I went ahead and amended ours to include that 1% as well, as we mirror their decisions at the town level. So it's not guaranteed that will happen, but we wanted to have it reflected in the budget just in case. It really didn't move the needle much on our overall budget. So, but that is the only change. Beyond that is the exact same operating budget that we had presented to you.
Perfect. Does anyone have any additional questions, concerns?
Sir, Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the 2021 operating budget as submitted.
I'll second that.
All right. With the motion on the floor, we will vote for the final approval of the 2021 operating budget as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
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 Jennifer, I hear you back there. That additionally passes 4-0. With that, there's no additional old business. We did have the ribbon cutting at Able Construction. A couple of us were able to make it out there, and that was a nice event. Great facility, and looking forward to seeing what they bring to that back corner of Gilman there. It's nice to not have it be a mound of dirt anymore, that's for sure.
I should mention as well, I know that Dawson's is getting ready to take down their outdoor seating for the season, and I'm sure that some of the others on Main Street will do so as well. So please continue to visit our local businesses, especially now that they're going to have limited seating. They're going to need as many patrons as possible. So just want to put that out there as well.
Absolutely. Anyone have any additional comments?
On Wednesday, the 28th, between 5 and 6:30, the Main Street businesses will be having some outdoor trick-or-treating. So stop by or feel free to visit them as well for dining.
Perfect. And keep a safe and socially distanced Halloween, I suppose, right?
Absolutely.
Throw candy at people. Our next meeting will be Monday, November 16th at 6 p.m. and hopefully somebody decides to join us, or if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email those in. And with no additional comments or statements, we'll conclude the meeting with consent.